Oh, I guess we didn't hit that button, but we did now. Okay. Okay, so hello, cohort leaders. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, guys. I'm Griffin Herr. I'm a junior and I'm studying accounting.
Hi, I'm Alice Oropeza and I'm studying entrepreneurship.
Hi, my name is Layla and I'm studying marketing.
Hi, my name is Justin and I'm a junior in accounting.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay, we're going to get started. And first up, you guys are going to try to guess the lie for Griffin. Oh my God, I keep clicking the wrong button. Okay. So.
Okay, we got 3 statements here. 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I own more than 10 cameras. Number 2, I'm the president of Asia at UMKC. Hint, hint, the shirt. And number 3, I lived in California until I was 12. And specifically, that's the city of Sacramento. So, any guesses? Anyone want to argue against that? Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Is there anyone for number 3, or are we set on those 2? Okay, so both of you guys are wrong. I have never lived in California. I have visited a lot because I have family, but I do own more than 10 cameras. It's kind of a problem, actually. And fun fact, I am actually the president of Asia at UMKC, so we have a lot of fun events. You guys should show up. Asian students in America. But you don't have to be Asian to join, so just come hang out with us.
Okay, thanks, Griffin. The next one up is Justin.
So again, my name is Justin, and for my truth, and a lie, I play the bass guitar. My personal best bass is 5.24 pounds, and I'm in a competitive mahjong league. Any takers for 1? Forgot 1. Any takers for 2? Any takers for 3? Yeah, whoever picked 2, that is right. Yeah, my personal bass is actually 1.24 pounds.
Much, much lower. Okay. All right. The next one we have is Layla.
The first one is that I own 6 Starbucks cups. The second one is that I'm a citizen in 3 countries. The third one is that I had my ears pierced when I was born. Any takers for the first one?
Got 1.
Okay. On the second one?
6, 7.
7. And then for the third one?
6. Okay, we're tied for 2 and 3.
The first one is the lie.
You guys were all wrong. One.
Yep, just the one.
Just one cup. All right. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Alice Oropeza.
Okay, so my statements are I saw over 30 concerts last year. I had my car searched by police last year. I helped paint an art piece that sold for $4,500. Any takers for number 1?
2, 3, 5, 6.
Okay, 7. Okay, 2.
7.
Okay, and number 3. 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay. The right one was I had my car searched by police. I have never had a ticket. I'm a good citizen.
Yes. She told me that she attended 30 concerts last year. And I was like, what the heck? It was crazy. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Alice is very into art. Her dad is an artist, and she is starting her own company called The Bloom. What's it called?
The Bloom Collective.
the Bloom Collective. She's an e-scholars working on it. So please attend demo day in December to hear all about it. Okay. So that's the end of our icebreaker, but it transitions very gracefully into our next topic, which is cohort leader applications.
Woohoo! Yes, please stay here because I would love for one of you to talk about your experience as a cohort leader. So we have the next round of applications for cohort leaders that are coming up to serve a new year term. That term will be from January 2025 to December 2025. And so applications will be opening soon. So these are some of the responsibilities that you will have as a cohort leader in the Launchpad program. I do plan on most likely adding a couple more duties to this list. So it will change, but just wanted to give you guys an idea. So if you are interested in serving as a cohort leader, as a Launchpad scholar, this will give you a great opportunity to develop or to begin developing leadership skills within Launchpad, something that you can also add to your resume in addition to being a scholar and a scholar that is meeting requirements to renew this scholarship. So if you are interested, you will receive more information about applications when they do open up. But who would like to talk about their experience as a cohort leader and what they have loved about it thus far?
I'll get started. I expect everyone to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. But I love being a cohort leader. It's super fun. I honestly had no idea like what to expect coming in. But it's really great. It's not as time consuming as you guys might think it will be. You have like duties, you have projects to work on, but it won't hinder your schoolwork. That was one of the main things that I was worried about. I will also say you find a lot of community being in a leadership position. I went to a commuter school before this, and while this is also still kind of considered a commuter school, I fell into the regimen of coming to class, leaving, coming to class, leaving. I didn't talk to anybody. I probably have 2 friends, and I went to school there for 3 years. So don't be like me. Get involved, and this is a great way to get involved. It's super fun, and meeting the people that you are in Launchpad with is super great.
Fun fact, Alice is one of my closest friends, and I only met her when she became a cohort leader. So just so you know.
Did you want to talk next or you want me to go? Okay. Yeah, Alice kind of hit the nail on the head there. She literally was like touched on everything I was going to say, but I would definitely, if you're interested at all, just give it a shot. Like she said, we work on a lot of fun stuff, and it's like, it's not a huge time commitment at all. It's literally just like an extra project for you to build some like teamwork skills, and just like feel comfortable being in like a leadership position. So yeah, like I said, if you guys are interested at all, definitely reach out. You can always ask us questions about our roles too. So
They've kind of touched on almost everything, but I mean, we're here to kind of just be a resource for everyone in the program. So if you guys don't, want to set a meeting, or if it's just a quick question, we're always there to like do that. And then we're also the ones who like plan all the socials and stuff throughout the semester. So we always have a lot of fun working together, getting those socials put together for you guys.
Hey, same thing. Everyone hit the nail on everything. I have nothing left, but I'm just saying, like, we're all open. If you have any suggestions for future events, like, hey, I want this event to have this kind of thing, and just bring it to one of us, and then we can make it happen. The creativity has no bounds.
And also, guys, if you feel uncomfortable coming to me about something, they are your peers that you can come to about. If it's something that you think you want to see with the program, is something that you're just not feeling with the program, they are your voice. So if you don't feel comfortable with me, feel free to reach out to any of them, and they can communicate that to me as well. Okay? Any questions or anything thus far? All right, we're going to move right along. Applications open November 4th, and they are due December 1st. I want to get it done and out the way, guys, so that way you guys can enjoy break. We'll have everything in, so that way when you come back, we vote, and then you guys will know who those cohort leaders are. So things will be coming out soon, but November 4th, they open up. All right, so we are halfway through the semester, guys. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. This is crazy. So we have more events that are on our schedule, of course, workshops, activities, things of that sort that are coming up. So just wanted to bring you guys attention to a few that are coming up. Next week, we have our Predictive Index and You workshop. Predictive Index is a behavioral assessment. Amy Leslie is a very good friend of mine. She is coming in to do a workshop with you guys. So if you have signed up, you will be receiving an email to take the predictive index test. And when you take that test, it's going to be available for Leslie, and then it's going to be a part of our workshop next Wednesday. So sign up, you'll get a link, show up on the 16th. Amy is amazing, and she's going to come in and do a workshop for us. So it's going to be awesome. The 24th, we have Bob White that is coming in. He's going to talk about managing your financial future. Guys, it is so important. I'm pretty sure many of these, all four of these are going to tell you how finances is so important, and for you to get that information starting now. And so Bob is going to come in, and probably a lot of what they say today, Bob is probably going to expound on that next week on the 24th. So feel free to sign up. I believe these are the last three workshops for the semester. So again, the workshops are hours that you guys can put towards hours that are required. So make sure that you attend if you haven't, because again, these are 1-2 hour workshops that you can easily get and add on to those requirements. So these are our last three of the semester. And then on the 7th, we have Lockton, Miss Emily from Lockton coming in. She is going to host a happy hour etiquette workshop. We are going to have mocktails, we're going to have food, we're going to have all that stuff, so please come. But she is basically going to have someone come in, we're partnering together, that they're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of networking, happy hour kind of specific. And so that's what we're going to be looking forward to on that date, on the 7th. So sign up for that as well. Resume and application workshop. So this is high season for internships, guys. And so Dr. Evans and I are partnering. We want to provide an opportunity for you guys to complete your resume or get help with your resume, and also complete applications for internships with any banks, Federal Reserve Bank, because a lot of these applications and deadlines are coming up really, really fast. So if you want help submitting your application, completing the application, working on your resume to get those things in the next 2 to 3 weeks, please come to this workshop that we're hosting on the 23rd. It's 1 hour. Bring your laptops, and Dr. Evans and I will be there to help you guys navigate that. So again, it's high season for internships. People are looking for internships. They're planning for next year already. So we want to help you guys be prepared for that. Okay, so attend that as well. Of course, we have our fun stuff coming up. Just like your cohort leaders say, they are preparing our last socials of the year. We've got a costume party on the 31st, actual Halloween. We also have Friendsgiving that we will have on the 19th. And then we also will have our Stress Less around finals time. We're going to do some karaoke and kind of get you guys release for some stress from those finals that are coming up. So those are our socials. Make sure you sign up. Make sure you show up. It's the fun stuff. Your cohort leaders work really hard on putting these things together for you guys. So definitely come out and have some fun. All right. I promised you guys some community service. We have a community service opportunity coming up. This was just posted in events. So JBizTown, if you're not aware of what JBizTown is, Junior Achievement is a local nonprofit here based really on the youth and advocating for the youth in schools. And so JBizTown is a organization that is kind of like they have a little town of Kansas City. And so what we are going to do is we have been assigned a middle school. I'm going to take a group of 10 of you guys or more, depending on who signs up. But my goal is between 10 to 15. If you are interested, it is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. that we are going to go over to JBizTown. They're located in KCK. I am going to have a bus that is going to pick us up. So we're all going to meet here in front of my office. We're going to take the bus over. We're going to come back. Lunch will be included for that day, but these are going to be volunteer hours that you can put towards your Launchpad hours. So if you are interested in volunteering, we've got a group of kids. I'm not sure how many, but there's going to be quite a few, but it is actually a middle school. And did I send you what middle school is going to be? I think I did, but I can't remember. It's a local Kansas City middle school that we're going to be working with. So if you guys are interested, you love kiddos, you want to help the kiddos learn how to run different companies and how we can teach them how to run all the different companies in Kansas City, sign up. Great community service hours, great Launchpad hours, and a great way for you to serve your community. So sign up. We will have a short training prior to the 15th when we do go to JBiz Town. So again, once you sign up, you will get all of those details as well. Yep, it's posted in our events page. Everything's posted up. Trinity just got everything posted for the rest of the semester. So go in, sign up, and you'll get details. All right. So one of your wonderful, amazing cohort leaders, Miss Alice, has put together a drive for you guys. And so for the whole month, starting from October to November, we are going to have a resource drive. And so Alice, do you want to talk a little bit about the organization that we are going to be donating to?
Hi, I'm Alice. So the resource drive is going to directly be take any donations that are given and go directly to Uplift. Uplift is an organization through Kansas City, Missouri that instead of like donating to like Goodwill, it directly transports and delivers any resources straight to the homeless population. So there isn't any taking items, upping the prices, or anything like that. The resource drive will include hygiene items, clothing items, and basic need items. So it's not just clothing. There's flyers in the Launchpad Lounge. Email me, Alice Oropeza. If you want to learn more, there's also a QR code. It's the one in the middle right there. If you want to check out what's going to be accepted, there are like some limits on stuff. And then there's also a prize. So anybody in this room who donates and is part of Launchpad, there's a point system. So depending on what you donate, you will gain points. And whoever has the top 2 most points gained will get a $25 Amazon credit. Do it, please.
Thank you so much, guys. So another way to get involved in the community, and I don't know about you guys, but me and my husband purge twice a year. And so we usually like to donate. And so I got a big old box already ready for Alice. So please, please, please donate. Anything, there's people out there that definitely need resources. So if you guys can help and be involved, that would be great. Last but not least, of course, if you are not following us on Instagram, please follow us on Instagram. That's where we are also posting all events and requirements and things of that sort as a Launchpad Scholar. And then what else do we got, Trinity? I think we are wrapping up. So without further ado, Dr. Evans, if you want to come on down. And our panelists, if you guys want to start making your way to the front, choose a seat, any seat of your choice. And we're going to go ahead and get transition to our panel discussion. I'm super excited, guys, about this. Many of you guys, if you do not know, Dr. Evans is our Associate Dean of the Block School. She also is a professor of finance here. So she is amazing. The Banking Leaders of Tomorrow program she is created and is directing, and it is amazing mentoring program. And many of these panelists are a part of that program as well. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Evans.
Great. Can you hear me? Well, thank you for coming. I'm going to have the panelists introduce themselves, but the reason we want to get you together is there's a lot of opportunity in this really exciting industry. I mean, in 2023, we had 4 or 5 of the largest banks fail and actually had a crisis, but all the banks here survived well and they didn't take excessive risk. And so one of the reasons they didn't take excessive risk is they have well-trained employees and they're looking for people to join them. So what I'm going to start off with is have them introduce themselves. And then afterwards, we'll start asking questions. And after we have a wrap up and ask questions, we hopefully will have time so you can ask each one or several of them questions. And then afterwards, if you can hang around just a little bit in case anyone wants to talk to you. So I'll let you start introducing yourself.
Test. Okay, good to go. I've always wanted to do that. Trevor Westcott, I'm with Commerce Bank. I manage commercial sales process adoption in our expansion market training program. Go Royals.
My name is Adriana Fields, and I'm with Academy Bank, and there I am a commercial loan review analyst, and we look over the bank's commercial loan portfolio to ensure that their risk ratings are appropriate.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rena Mehta. I'm a senior treasury advisor, vice president at Ardvis Bank. My role is to help big corporations with their day-to-day operations with efficiencies and making sure that they're maximizing their cash. That's me.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tarina Terry. I'm a certified treasury professional. I'm a senior vice president and the director of treasury management at Academy Bank. Similar to Rena here from Arvest Bank, my role as the director of treasury is to manage our sales, account management, and onboarding teams. And what we do is most of our clients are middle market or commercial clients, and we're really helping them run their business. None of the businesses in our community can survive without having treasury management. But before I try to sell you all on anything, I'll just stop right there, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, we're going to start with you with the first question. And since everybody here is not a finance major, can you tell us about some of the entry-level positions at your bank that business majors can apply for?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I want to make sure that we're stressing is oftentimes when you graduate with your bachelor's degree, you're looking for a role. You may not have experience. Right now is a really good time to get some experience if your schedule will allow. So all throughout college, I was a personal banker up until after I graduated. And there were two prerequisites for my very first treasury job. I needed to have a bachelor's degree and I needed to have some type of banking experience. Well, that personal banking experience is what got me in the door and put me on the trajectory that I am on today. In addition to our personal banker roles, we also have universal bankers. So we call on those individuals to essentially float around to different areas of the bank that need assistance as there are vacations. People may be out sick, maybe on extended leave. Those individuals are very well-rounded because they have the opportunity to learn a lot about the bank. And all of the roles that I'm mentioning right now require you to have a high school degree or a GED. So all of you are eligible to be a part of those roles today. In addition to that, we have what we call deposit operations. Those are the individuals that you don't see at the bank. They're working behind the scenes and they're making sure that the bank is running smoothly. And then last but not least, our internal audit department is a really great place to have an entry-level role, and you are not required to have banking experience to be in the internal audit department.
Also, in addition to that, so when I was in high school, I did have a lot of part-time positions. I was actually selling shoes at Finish Line. And as crazy as that sounds, that actually helped me get some of the banking roles. I had an internship in Lockbox, which it was kind of grunt work, but what I did was I opened envelopes, I processed checks for different businesses. So if you can get into any type of banking opportunity, I would do it, whether it's like, oh, this isn't the job for me, because the point of getting into this industry is meeting people. It's all about networking, showing that you're qualified, showing that you're able to do the job, showing that you're adaptable. And that's what will get you where you need to go. But also, I'm sorry, I don't know why I grabbed my phones, but I have two. But there is also a marketing career. We have all these banks. They not only do the financial side of it, but they have to market the banks. We have to bring in clients. And so to get there, you don't have to have a financial background to get into marketing. So if you're looking for those type of opportunities, check out the banking world.
Let me answer that question.
Yeah.
I work with Tarina. So Tarina listed all the entry-level positions at Academy Bank. But I'll just say what she said, to be sure to try to gain that experience while you're in college and before you kind of start making those decisions about where you want to work, because there are so many different departments at a bank that you probably have no idea exist. And so it just takes many people and many processes to help a bank run. For instance, I did have an internship while in college as an internal audit. as a staff auditor. And so I was able to do that for 2 summers at a bank. But at the same time, when I would go back to school, I was a teller. And so that experience as a teller helped me to learn on the front side of the banking operations, like exactly how that works, what systems the bank uses. And then when I graduated from college, I had got the opportunity to be a commercial credit analyst, which is I help underwrite commercial loans. And so that retail experience, that internal audit experience at the bank kind of gave me more perspective when I went into my first role as a commercial credit analyst. So it was very helpful, and also kind of widened my perspective, especially with if I was able to talk to other people, I kind of had an idea of what they do. And so that kind of led me to different doors and meeting different people that would help me along my career.
So transitioning to commerce, actually our Ascend bank training program, which has a foundation in commercial credit and is a producer of a lot of commercial bankers, does not necessarily require a finance degree. It does. We do hire folks with general business degrees. I'm an example of that. That's how I started at the bank 7 years ago. But other early career paths at the bank, we have an IT developer training program. We have a bank ops training program. We actually have a relatively newly launched in the last couple of years sales development training program. So outside of just traditional commercial loans, as I think all these banks would attest, there's a lot of other exciting solutions that we're bringing to market. And so through the sales developer program, you can kind of see the full suite of that and how we go to market with those strategies if going client facing is something you're interested in.
Now, the next question is, were you always wanting to be a banker? And when you answer this, tell us about where you went to school, what your major was, and what your journey was, and what made you pivot towards going into banking. Did you have a finance major? You said you didn't.
Yeah, so great question. The answer is absolutely not. I did not know I was going to be a banker. I actually went away and played college football and got my undergrad in South Dakota. Thought I wanted to be a college football coach or a college athletic director. So I then went to get my MBA at the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg and coached tight ends there. I got about 4 months into that and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I want something a little more stable and I don't want to be working 100 hours a week and sleeping at my desk 2 nights a week during the season. So transitioned to the commercial banking route. So did get my MBA in finance and then started at Commerce from there. Again, I mentioned an Ascend bank training program. It was a client-facing commercial banker for 5 years here in Kansas City. So business development, portfolio management on the commercial side, and then about a year ago, transitioned to this new role.
I did not think I was going to be a banker. I went to Mizzou in Columbia, Missouri, and I was a finance major though. And at that time, when I was in school, you probably learn about it now in your classes, the Great Depression had just happened in 2008. So I was coming out 2009. And at that time, before I graduated, I had wanted to get involved in commercial real estate and thought I would work for a commercial real estate firm, but the market tanked. And so that was not possible at that time. So when I graduated, like I said, I interned at a bank, or I interned at UMB Bank. I did that for 2 summers. In the department that I interned with, they were not able to grant me a full-time position, but because I had been exposed as an intern there, I was involved in different intern activities. So different managers in the bank had seen me, and one had noticed me during my end of summer presentation. And so they were hiring for commercial credit analysts, and that manager reached out to one of the HR representatives and said, hey, can you contact Adriana? At that time, I was Adriana Fernandez. Can you contact Adriana Fernandez and see if she's interested in applying for a commercial underwriter position? And of course, I'm not even knowing what that is. I had no idea what it was. And I was like, well, I don't know if that is what I want to do. I don't really want to work for a bank. And so then my mom, who's here, was like, girl, you better take that take that job. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I got to take it because I'm coming off the roll, as far as them paying for everything. So from there, it was just kind of just a funny story, but I became a commercial credit analyst, did that for 3 years. And I will tell you some advice too. As a commercial credit analyst, they kind of gear you up as far as a journey. So traditionally you will become a commercial lender after becoming a commercial credit analyst, and then kind of just up the scale that way. But I didn't want to be a lender because I wasn't really a sales driven person. And so I thought to myself, well, what can other positions can I do that will be a requirement of this certain skill? And so then I learned about loan review. And so I went out of my way to go meet with the director of loan review at UMB Bank so that he could know my name and then know that I am interested once I get the expertise and, I gain more time in this role, that I would one day want to come to his department. So then he told me, well, yeah, you'll have to kind of get your credit experience up, but you can also go to loan operations and learn loan documents, and then that will set you up to be great for a loan review analyst. I was like, okay, so I did that. I worked as an analyst for 3 years. And so then after that, I was like, let me find out what I can do in loan operations. And so then I met with the director of loan operations and said, hey, I'm interested in learning loan documentation, but I don't know what roles you have available that will be good for my skill set. And so she was able to say, hey, we're actually hiring. Are you interested in this position? So she talked with me, kind of walked me through what that looked like. And I also got to shadow for like 2 weeks just because I'd said that I was interested. And so from shadowing for 2 weeks, learning about the department, they then offered me the job because they were impressed with my skill set. And so, of course, I took it because I knew it was a stepping stone to get to where I wanted to go. So I was in loan operations for 3 years. And then I also became a construction monitoring analyst. And at that time, UMB was building up their construction commercial real estate segment for the bank. So learned how to look at different contractors, financials, and also budgets, and that's a whole different thing. But I did that, but then it became very overwhelming, and I had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time. So I'm like, I got to pivot and do something because I was working too many hours. And so then my friend happened to be a loan review analyst, reached out to me from Academy and said, I don't know if you know anybody interested in a loan review analyst position, but we're hiring. So, just spread the word. And I'm like, oh, I'm interested. And so went ahead, did the interview. I had my commercial credit experience. I had my loan operation experience and also other banking experience that I shared earlier as far as knowing kind of how teller operations run and also internal audit. So that really set me up for this because I had basically a wealth of knowledge in different areas of the bank. And from there, I was hired. So that's my journey.
Well, let me start. I come from a family of business owners. So I was raised in a mall, and all my parents talked about was money, finances, stock markets. My dad was so boring. That's all he talked about is invest your money, invest your money. If you start at a young age, you'll be rich, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was the rebellious one and want nothing to do with finances. So what's the next thing? Become a physical therapist. I don't like touching people, not sure why. I just needed to go to college and get a degree because that was the expectations of my parents. And then I was like, well, now I don't want to do physical therapy. Let's do fashion design. I don't know why. I mean, obviously I like fashion. And then I did get a job as a on-air host at the local TV station and did that for a while. But realistically, you can't make a lot of money and I'm expensive. So I did go to Mizzou, did all of that, so in between that, my dad did pass away. I graduated with Avila and did end up getting my finance degree because it's in my genes, it's in my roots. After that, I did get an internship, and then I started at the bottom. I was an assistant in the mortgage department, but what I kept telling myself is even though you have to start at the bottom and you have to do the nitty-gritty, be good at it. Be so good at it and communicate, be reliable, network. That was something that I was always really good at, is learning other people in the departments, getting to know, hey, would you mentor me? Hey, can I ask you questions? Hey, can I grab coffee? So I started as an assistant, and then I went to actually Commerce Bank and I worked in the mortgage space as well, and then slowly climbed up the ladder. Then I got a gig at Morgan Stanley. I was a private banker. I was licensed. They helped me get my 7 and my 66, which is in the investments. And then I worked with a lot of clients in the investing world. And then now I'm at Arvest Arvest Bank as a senior treasury advisor. The role came out of nowhere just because I'm constantly marketing. You have to make sure your reputation is positive, that you you're good with customers. If you leave another firm or a bank, don't leave angry, don't leave mad, put in your 2 weeks because it's a small world. It'll come full circle and you'll work with the same people 20 years later, because I am now. I'm working with the same people I worked with as a loan assistant, and I have a bigger role, better role, because I have put so much hard work into climbing that ladder. And at Arvest Bank, they made me a dual employee. So I also was able to keep my licenses on top of doing the role that I did. So that is something that I suggest. I was not someone who knew what I was doing. I probably connect the full circle. I've been on every single position in the banking. I've done mortgage, I've done lending, I've done private banking, and now I'm back in treasury management. And 20 years later, that's the first job I started with. So don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to talk to managers or colleagues about what's your role. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Try something new. And that's my advice.
Thank you. Again, I'm Tarina Terry. I'm from a small town, South Bend, Indiana. If no one's heard of it, Notre Dame is there. So I'm a graduate of Indiana State University. My undergraduate degree is in business administration. I did have a focus in finance and insurance and leadership organization. And then I then went on to get my very first job in Treasury, and then decided to go back to school. So some graduate programs do require you to have at least 2 years of work experience after you've received your undergraduate degree. So the program that I was in required that. I then went back and got my MBA with a focus in finance. Have I always wanted to be in banking? Yes, but for all of the wrong reasons. So I wanted to get into banking because my dad's sister, my aunt, she was a branch manager in our small town. So I thought she was hot stuff. And she dressed up all the time. And I was like, I want to be a businesswoman like her. She really has her stuff together. I go into the branch to see her and she's handling business and taking care of clients. And so while the reasons were vain, she quickly let me know that it was hard work. And that if I too aspired to be in the banking industry, I would have to take the necessary steps to make that happen. And so she did not go on to attend college. So she encouraged me as a first-time college attendee for our family to go to school, get your degree. But if this is what you really want to do, you really have to put in the equity so that it can pay off for you later. Rena made a really good point about making sure that you don't burn bridges. So I think we've heard about previous employers and opportunities that we've gotten from them. But what I want to highlight is that I'm a boomerang associate. So I worked for Academy Bank 8+ years ago, and I worked in the Treasury Department. And when I put in my resignation, I gave 3 weeks notice. I created a transition plan, and I was kind until I left and I did my job. I went on and worked for another bank. I was there for 7 years. I didn't do a lot of hopping. I'm a very loyal associate. I was really good at what I did. Others saw how good I was by following me on LinkedIn, keeping up my presence out in the professional environment. That is very important. Your brand is everything. And guess what? Academy Bank gave me the opportunity to come back and lead the team that I previously worked on. So again, you never know when those moments become full circle, but just make sure that at the end of the day, strive to be unforgettable, because we are all replaceable.
So the next question is, based on the challenges that you've had in your career, in your job, what advice would you give to students who might be interested in working in your area?
I would say challenges. Some of the challenges that I would say working in the commercial space, so I won't even just skinny it down to just treasury. In the commercial space, when I first got into the commercial space, it was very male dominated. There were not a lot of Black and brown associates that looked like me. So the best advice that I can give you is be really, really good at what you do and show up as your authentic self, no matter what space you are in. It is so easy for us to shrink and want to make other people feel comfortable. But anybody that knows me or sat down and had a conversation with me knows that I'm going to show up and be my authentic self and be unapologetic about it. So don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to challenge things if they don't sound right. The right leaders will appreciate the opposition of your opinions, especially when it's going to benefit the organization, your clients, and the team. So don't be afraid to challenge things. I challenge a lot of things. I raise my hand. I say, well, have we thought about doing it like this? So I would say don't strive to be a yes, ma'am, or a yes, sir. Strive to be your authentic self in whatever role you are in, because that will help you deal with some of the adversity that you may face along the way. But in addition to that, when you are in a position to extend the ladder to others and help build them up and mentor them, and you look around and you don't see anyone that looks like you, that is your opportunity to reach back and pull them up along with you. Sometimes we can be so focused on, I'm just going to worry about myself and I'm just going to come here, do my job and leave, and that's it. Well, you're not making as great of an impact that you can. And when you notice that something doesn't quite feel right, think about those moments where you felt uncomfortable and how you want to make a gateway for someone else.
So in addition, obviously, I'm not the cookie cutter white suit, gray suit look. I mean, I have had some opportunities where I've told that I need to tone it down a little bit, which of course I'm rebellious and I'm like, tone it up. But being authentic is key to your success, because us four are never going to be the same sitting here. Where you're going to really stand out is your communication, your reliability, and how hard you hustle. That is always going to outshine. And when people beat you down, you find ways to always keep going. You keep thriving, you keep persevering, because there are going to be some companies that you do work for, and I hope not, that it just doesn't work for you. Because we've probably all been in these situations, but where I am now, it's beautiful. It finally paid off after years and years of grinding, of being authentic, being persevere, pushing, hustling, fighting, networking. It will eventually pay off, and you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's what growth is. And that's all I have.
I'll have to agree with Tarina, because I too am in the commercial space. And in 2010, when I took my first job in a commercial area of the bank, I was the only female and I was the only minority out of 12 people. And so it was a bit of a culture shock and something that I was kind of like, this is different. Is this how it is working in corporate America? And I even was told when I had to do an assignment for one of our chief lending officer at that time, and my manager pulled me to the side and said, well, you have to do this for him. And it was a write-up. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Like, I was excited because I'm doing something for like one of our leaders. So then he's told me, well, he didn't want to hire a girl, right? I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Well, what it did was fueled me to, okay, well, Adriana, you have to show them, which, to me, if you didn't think I was smart, then why did you hire me in the first place? But had to prove myself in a sense, because I already knew I was good at what I did and that I would always try my best at it. But it just kind of made me recognize, okay, then yes, I have to work very hard to let them know, like, I belong where I am. I know what I'm doing, and I will succeed whether you want to see me do it or not. And so that was kind of ingrained in me at that time. And it just, for some reason, that had to happen to just, keep me motivated and inspired. But I also will say too, being in the risk area of a bank that I work now, you have to get used to having difficult conversations, because Being in risk area, everybody doesn't like to see you coming because you're kind of like the police a little bit. And so sometimes, you know, if I'm looking at a commercial loan officer's credit, and when I say credit, I mean a customer relationship. You know, they're proud of their customer. They're glad that they brought this relationship to the bank. And sometimes I won't say they'll turn an eye to it, but you know, sometimes it can kind of impact how they view that relationship to the bank. My job is to protect the bank and make sure that we don't lose any money. So, you know, I sometimes have to go back and forth with the officer about, hey, we might need to look at this relationship a different kind of way. You know, of course the customer's telling you that, oh yeah, we're gonna make this much money in the next 3 months, and so we'll be good. But I mean, at the same time, you have to be realistic. Yeah, they said that 6 months ago that they were gonna make that much money, but it still hasn't happened. And so I would say if you can now, kind of get used to so that you can give feedback, but also try to get feedback that might be candid or something that's difficult. That's something that may impact you as far as, I don't know, something that sometimes you might not want to hear. So I think that would be good training to learn now, because as you get older and in the workplace, sometimes it's kind of hard to learn it on the spot, and you'll learn as you go. And sometimes I think people take it personal, whereas, you know, we're all doing our jobs. It's nothing personal. It doesn't mean I don't like you because your customer's not doing well. It's just that at this point, it's just not a good look. And that's what I would say.
Thank you. So I'll use a baseball analogy in honor of the playoffs and say, put yourself on deck for the opportunity that you want. So on the sales side, we always talk about if there isn't an immediate opportunity with a prospect, we want to put ourselves on deck, meaning if the incumbent bank slips up in the future or anything like that, that prospect thinks of us, right? We're on deck, we're up next. And so when I think of kind of the corporate world, I always think about there's an opportunity, if there's a role I want, what do I need to do to be on deck internally for that role, to where when that person gets their next opportunity, whether it be in the bank or with another bank or whatever it may be, that I'm the one that everybody hiring for that role thinks of, right? I'm on deck. So there's a number of ways you can do that. I think there's been some great guidance tonight on that. One thing I always think about is building as many advocates and sponsors internally as I can, right? So building my internal network to where I know there's going to be someone involved in the hiring decision that's going to go to bat for me. And that I've let them know about my brand, let them know what I'm all about. But I honestly think the best way you do that, and I heard this earlier and I completely agree, is being the best you can be at the role you are in right now, right? It's good to be ambitious. It's good to think about what's next. And I'm always going to advocate for that. But I've found with promotions that I've had, and that how I've seen others, that if you're a top performer in what you're doing now, they're not going to have a choice but to promote you, because otherwise they know you're going to be gone and you're going to go look for your next opportunity elsewhere. So put yourself on deck.
Well, before I ask my last question, I want to know, does anybody have a question that they want to ask? Yes.
Opportunities that you guys have, you guys generally do that like during a focus, 6, 8, 10-week program during the summer, or do you offer things like that throughout the school semester as well?
Well, I know that we offer internships that are like your guys' is different. What do you guys call school now? Your terms, yes, terms. And then there's always part-time positions. So you can always apply for a part-time position, but then if you start building your center of influence, so if you start, LinkedIn is such a good one to introduce yourself. Hey, I'm in college now. These are types of things I'm looking for. Would you care if we get coffee? I know it seems kind of creepy and stalkerish, but at the same time, that's what kind of makes you uncomfortable and starts getting you out there, because from a business perspective, we're looking for motivative individuals. We're looking for salesy types people. We're looking for marketing type of people. And then you have your introverts who like the operations side. We do ask that you do that too, but it also does help. But internships are terms related. They're also part-time. It doesn't hurt to try.
And you had a question?
Can I piggyback on that real fast? Actually, Academy Bank's internship position is posted now if you're interested. So if you go to Academy Bank's website and type in intern, there are 4 positions right now open for it. But we have I believe 10-week, 8-week program during the summer, 8-week program during the summer. And honestly, our internship program, I think, is really awesome because you get exposed to the entire operations of the bank. When I was an intern, I was only in my certain department. I didn't really, kind of associate with the other departments in the bank. But our internship exposes you to all operations of the bank. You get to meet senior leadership, executive leadership, and just do lots of things at Academy Bank that I think sets you up for the next step in your career.
Yeah, great question. So a couple of things to come to mind. One, I think of community involvement, right? So how am I, one, getting involved in areas and other professional groups that I'm showing that I'm a lifelong learner and I'm going beyond the 8 to 5 to learn about my industry, learn how I can add value for my clients. Also, how am I just getting involved in community organizations just sincerely to give back to my community, right? My community has given me a lot through the clients that have businesses here, the prospects that have business here, et cetera. That's how all these banks make money, right? And now we want to give back. The other piece I think of is working to and striving to become a thought leader on LinkedIn, right? Not just reposting something constantly, but doing a well thought out post where you may repost something and then give your thoughts or challenge others on what their thoughts are after you kind of give your position. So I think the more and more we can get to thought leader, then eventually in the sales world, we can get to what we strive to be, and that's that trusted advisor.
Okay, great.
I would just like to add on to everything that Trevor said, but in addition to that, LinkedIn is your brand. So as a leader of a team, when a resume comes up, I am going to go out to LinkedIn because I want to know what that candidate is involved in the community. Your LinkedIn profile should be a snapshot of your resume because sometimes that might be the very first impression before you actually get an opportunity to get in the door and have a conversation. So take your LinkedIn serious. I would say if you have any car selfies, let's get a professional headshot. There's all kind of software and AI and awesome tools that you can use to make sure that your headshot is very polished. So take your LinkedIn profile very seriously. Make sure that you are involved in things within the community because all of these organizations are a part of the community. So showing that same passion for work that you don't get paid for is going to be a reflection of the type of passion that you're going to have for work you do get paid for.
Sure.
So there are a lot of chambers around here. There's the Kansas City Chamber, there's the Lee Summit Chamber. Everybody has that, and you can reach out to them or you can show up to their events. A lot of us bankers, there's a lot of us in the community that attend these. And if you're really trying to like rub elbows with professionals or at least get in front of them, I would go out there. And if you need help, we can help. I can help you with some of those links. But I mean, it's easy because there's a lot of centers of influence there that you can really, really rub shoulders with and get to know that you wouldn't get to know if you were just LinkedIn. Because, you know, some people might also ignore you as well, but I would suggest that as well.
Okay, great. And we have one more professional that is on our board of the Banking Leaders of Tomorrow program, Teresa Asensio. So you want to introduce yourself? Thank you. And then the last question for me is, you know, basically after COVID, we've had a whole shift where now people are staying home. They're not at the office. They're doing a lot of things online, and how's your job changed since COVID? And what kind of new skill sets do people need now to do banking that they didn't need before COVID?
Yeah, I love that question. So I was a client-facing commercial banker at the time COVID happened, and the first thing I would say right away was the PPP debacle and all that. And so if there was ever a PPP round 3, I think I would have moved on from banking. That was a joke. But with that said, I think for a while, right, we had to shift everything to the virtual environment. And to a certain degree, some of that virtual environment, or at least hybrid, is stuck around, right? We have more employees. A greater percentage of our employees at the bank now are hybrid. Some are entirely work from home, but a larger portion are hybrid, typically remote 3 days and in the office 2, or vice versa. I would say the biggest change, and I know we have some treasury folks here, would be particularly on the payment side. There's been a lot more focus on efficiencies and things like that as these businesses and their environments have changed. How can they get more out of their cash? How can they be more efficient with how they're taking payments and paying their vendors and suppliers, et cetera? So probably had to change more so kind of our go-to-market and how we're interacting with clients. You can't just be kind of a traditional we loan money bank, right? Because those are the types of banks right now in this soft loan demand environment that are really struggling.
I'll say yes, that PPP is like PTSD, honestly. But definitely had to shift and learn very quickly. I will tell you one thing that changed, I think probably with the majority of the people at my bank, is that we couldn't print anything while we were at home. So we had to learn how to, and I don't want to say learn, but we had to adjust to look into viewing electronic documents. I mean, we had access to it before COVID, but because I know I'm kind of old school when it comes to that, but a lot of us were old school. We just print, because that's what we knew. And so then that was kind of a different thing. And then once we came back to the bank, it was like, oh, I don't need to print anything. And so I think that was a very good, especially cost-effective measure that helped the bank. But in my department, we didn't really have any roles that went remote, essentially. Like we do a hybrid model in my department. We work in the office 3 days a week. We work from home 2 days a week. But in other areas, I saw that the bank had opportunity. Some areas where they had certain positions, they let some of those certain positions go fully remote that weren't fully remote before. And so that also was able to help the bank gain like a wider pool of talent that that the bank could hire. And also, when Trevor talked about different efficiencies as far as people banking processes and things like that, our bank also invested in those technologies that which we would call RPA, but it's robotic process automation, where old processes that were manual now can be automated, but which make a smoother and effective transition in banking experience with us. And so I think COVID breeded a lot of things that we may have thought about before COVID happened, but then COVID made us do it. And that's my 2 cents.
I'll be honest with you. When it happened, I hated it. I love getting ready. I have the mentality to always dress for success. So the party on top and lazy on the bottom just didn't work for me. And I mean, it's like everyone was fancy on top and had pajama pants. And then you had people get up and it was just like, it was just madness. And then eventually after a couple weeks of like, okay, we're stuck doing remote work, I would literally drive, get ready, drive and pretend traffic, drive the highway and go back home just so that I felt the need that I was going to an office, because my mentality is my work, or my house is my sanctuary. It's my peace. I don't want to work out here. I don't want to work here. I don't want to bring that in. So I struggled with it for several years, because just every job that I've ever had, I was in the office Monday through Friday from, whatever your times were. And that was my mentality. Now, eventually we started going back into the office, and then I started really sitting in traffic again. And then my mind switched again, because I'm like, well, I kind of do like it, because I did enjoy party on top and then lazy on the bottom. And then now where I am at, we are my job is face to face. I meet people for coffee. We go to lunch. I go to their office. We go to events. So this whole office thing is not a mandatory for my position. So I do a lot of remote work now, but I really like it because 5 years ago I had one child and then now I'm married with 3 bonus kids and they play every sport under the moon. So I've learned to love remote life and I'm actually more efficient because I save 2 hours instead of driving from Lee Summit to Deep Overland Park. So I think it just like as you go through growth and different mentalities and different life changes, it changes with the whole remote because I think I'm more efficient because when I do go in the office, I do love the social aspect of it because you do meet people, you talk to people, but I get a lot of work done at like being remote now.
I would say, I share some of the same thoughts as the other panelists. Experiencing, the pandemic was something that we never thought we would experience in our lifetime. So it was certainly an adjustment. When the pandemic hit, I was pregnant. So the bonus is when it was time for me to buy maternity clothes, I didn't have to because I wasn't in the office. So that was a nice transition for me. But in all seriousness, I would say beyond talking about the hybrid schedule, one of the things that is critical when you do work a hybrid schedule or a remote role is that you have a dedicated workspace and you learn how to remain diligent and focused when you are not in the office because it's so easy to let me go fold these 5 loads of laundry. Let me go put something in the Instapot so dinner's made when everyone gets home. Now, don't get me wrong, I still do those things, but I might log on a whole hour earlier on the days that I'm working from home because I don't have to sit in traffic. So it's a manner of fully optimizing your time and being efficient with it and being productive. I get a ton more done when I am at home, but I'm an extrovert. I need to be around other people to feed off of their energy. And I really do enjoy going into the office and fostering that collaboration with my teammates.
Well, I want to thank everybody for participating and coming here on the panel. Basically, we hope that all of you will come up and introduce yourself. We also have an Instagram, so we'd like to interview some of you for our Banking Leaders of Tomorrow Instagram. And again, if you want to reiterate, what day are we going to have resume review and sit down and help people who are interested in applying?
Hi, so yes, if they have internships, if you are interested in internship, you want help completing it, the application, your resume, show up, Dr. Evans and I will be there.
And we've done it with some people, right? Well, some people have already applied, so. But for those of you, just come on by. If you don't have time on the 23rd, come by my office. I think you know my office is one of the past, the one with the candy on it. Yeah, so you can come by and hopefully they can reach out to you if they have any questions.
Everybody on LinkedIn, everybody's on LinkedIn, so take a picture, connect with them, where it starts, guys.
Okay, thank you.
That's all we got, guys. Have a good night. Go Royals.
Would you mind being interviewed?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay, one of our block students is gonna.
Yeah, no problem.
Uh-oh, hey, you want to come introduce you?
Gonna need some.
All right. I have a student who's coming to introduce himself.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Drake.
Oh, thank you for coming. That's great.
To support that. So
Well,
sorry I was late.
That's okay. I've got to figure out how to turn this off. Let me ask you.
Okay.
Can you tell us how to turn these off? Any of you guys gonna come on the 23rd?
Maybe 4 to 5.
Yeah.
4 to 5. Yeah.
When you say where I get a picture, or can I get that QR code?
Oh, for check-in? Yeah. You want to come up here?